to the being here and for tuning in. We will take the roll, but before we take the roll, I will read the notice. Special called meeting to Mayor Charles Chaz Mulder, Vice Mayor Randy McBroom, Council Members Davina Hardison, Debbie Wiles, Tony Green, Kenny Marshall, Danny Coleman, City Attorney C. Tim Tisher, Finance Director, City Recorder Thad Jablonski. Take notice that there will be a special called meeting of City Council of the City of Columbia, Tennessee at City Hall Council Chambers at 5:15 p.m. on Thursday, March 7, 2024 to consider the following item of business. Number one, approve a memorandum of agreement with the United States Census Bureau to conduct a special census and authorize payment in the amount of $928,069 to the United States Census Bureau. Now that I've read that, we will call the roll. Please, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Ms. Hardison?
Here.
Mr. Marshall?
Here.
Mrs. Wiles?
Here.
Vice Mayor McBroom?
Here.
Mayor Mulder?
Here, let the record reflect, all members of council are present. Next item, number two, spread the special called meeting upon the minutes. And I have read the notice of the special called meeting, so we would take a motion and a second to indeed spread the special called meeting upon the minutes. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on item two? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green?
Aye.
Ms. Hardison? Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom?
Aye.
Mayor Mulder?
Aye. The special called meeting has been spread upon the minutes. Now, Section 3, Administration. Item 3.1, approve a memorandum of agreement with the United States Census Bureau to conduct a special census and authorize payment in the amount of $928,069 to the United States Census Bureau. Mr. Massey.
Thank you, Mayor. As council recalls, when we had our recent strategic planning session, we talked about the recommendation to have a special U.S. Census done for the city of Columbia. And council at that time told us, let's move forward with that. We had a virtual meeting with the U.S. Census Bureau, I guess, 2+ weeks ago now, and which they outlined their methodology. It would be almost identical as a regular. It would essentially be another regular census they would do for us. Start in the summer, would go into the fall with understanding that they would be completed in time that we could submit the new census numbers for the FY 25-26 city budget with the state shared taxes that we could receive from the new special census. At that meeting, they forecast that the city of Columbia has grown by 6,800 people by 2020. And we know that their forecasting methodology is about 94% accurate. So if anything, we may be even a little bit more. So when you run the numbers on it, at 6,800 people, new people, at an additional $171 in new state share taxes that the city would enjoy from the new census number, that represents almost $1.2 million in new revenue for the city of Columbia. So from my perspective, we see this as a good move by council to approve as a business investment, actually, that we should get our money back within the first year, and then the next several years that amount goes forward. So with that being said, the reason that we asked to have the special call meeting for you to take action tonight, the Census Bureau needs to have from the Columbia City Council approval that for the census, special census, plus the check. They want their money up front by the end of next week. So we thought that was cutting it a little short to try to have that on a regular meeting. And this all is to keep in line with the timeline that they get this done essentially about this time next year, so we can submit the numbers to the state of Tennessee. So. Paul, did I miss anything? Thank you.
Any questions on that explanation from any members of council? I have just a couple of questions that first, the forecast is actually a forecast that they rely upon, they being the United States Census Bureau, in putting out even information now, although it's not a part of a census that gets statistical respect from the funding agencies for our population. It is interesting that they've already thought that. I think that does bode well. There are probably other ways to do it other than the U.S. Census Bureau, and this may even be a little bit pricier, but wouldn't it also be true that this allows us to better position ourselves for the census to be certified upon the results and so that we can ensure that we do obtain that funding mechanism.
Yes, sir, it is pricey. However, if you try to use volunteers, you usually get what you get. And we just felt it was better to go to the people who are experts in doing this with the U.S. government. They will essentially hire 50 employees to come in and conduct the census, just as they did back in 2020. It'd be identical to then. And as I said, we looked at trying to hire consultants to come in here. I think if you recall, when we talked about this during strategic planning, we couldn't find any consulting firm that does this kind of work. And we know there's some sister cities other cities that are trying to do it with volunteers, and just quite frankly, I don't think they're going to be very successful with that.
And then isn't it also true that there is not another regularly scheduled census until 2030? And so essentially, if we were not to do this, which pays for itself in year one, there would be a period of 5 to 7 years that we would not have that additional $1.1+ million a year that's being basically left on the table.
Yes, sir. That's a great point. By doing this special census, we're midpoint between this one and the 2030 census. So simple math, 5 times 1.2 million is what? $6 million in new revenue to the city of Columbia. Also, too, is to be pointed out that that's the estimated population right now. We're probably going to be growing by several hundred more by the time they actually get to doing it in late summer, fall. So this number will probably be over 7,000 by then.
Okay. Any other questions on that topic?
Mayor Motor, I appreciate you asking that question, because I was just thinking that we would not recoup this money until 25.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
that should be a good 5 clear years until, and it may delay even a 2030 census takes.
We're right at midpoint between the next census.
And then in 2030, there will be another census, which presumably would also show
Capture.
another increase.
Yeah, we were well on the way of tracking well over 50,000 people. Stick.
All right. Any other questions on this item 3.1?
I have one.
Oh, Councilman Coleman.
Thank you. Is there anything else, I guess, that we get out of this besides, is there anything like, as far as us being, because this puts us close to, or maybe will put us past 50,000. Like, is there anything
What-
else?
Once we get past 50,000 as a population, that puts us in a different category as being eligible to apply for different grants that we can't do now. A city our size is bad. You could probably speak a little bit better to that than I can.
Yeah, the 50,000 population threshold puts us in a position where we can apply for entitlement city status. And, for some cities, given the variables that go into that calculation as an entitlement city is what you receive each year, whether that makes sense for you, it may make sense for some older communities, including us, where, we've got census tracts that, low-income census tracts is designated by the U.S. Census Bureau. Other communities, our sister city to the north, Spring Hill, maybe makes a little bit less sense. Again, just because of what you get year-over-year requirements to hire additional staff to oversee those funds. So, but as we approach and close in on that $50,000 population threshold, that's something we can evaluate and take a look at.
Great. Thank you. That's all I have.
Good explanation. Good question. Any other questions on this item? Hearing none. Okay. We will entertain a motion to approve item 3.1.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Green, properly seconded by Councilmember Coleman. Any discussion on item 3.1? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye. Item 3.1 is approved. Next section, adjournment. Entertain a motion to adjourn this special called meeting.
Move to approve.
It's been moved to adjourn, properly seconded. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor